Tonight I want to talk about what's called the mind-muscle connection, and actually what brought it up is some messages that I've received recently from people, and they're having trouble getting certain body parts to grow. Typically with new lifters, one of the things that happens is they simply are just concerned with moving weight. They're not thinking about how they're moving it, they're not thinking about what muscles they're using, it's just how much weight can I move. Now if you're a power lifter, or if you're doing strength training, that's what you're concerned with. But if you're bodybuilding, that's not what you're concerned with at all. It's not how much weight you can move, it's not how much can you bench press. It's how well can you activate the muscles that you're working on and make them grow. Because it's all about growth in bodybuilding. So one of the things that happens sometimes is someone will say, hey, my chest isn't growing at all. And this is a very common one. And they say, everything else looks good, I have great delts, but my chest just doesn't grow. Well, that sparks a concern right there that possibly they're using their delts to do the lift instead of their chest, which is a fairly common thing to do. So one of the things that I really stress to people, especially if they're having trouble with getting something to grow, is when they work on that part, take the weight down a little bit from what they're working on and concentrate on actually using that body part to do the lift. And the biggest key is when you're doing a lift, whatever body part you're working on needs to be the first muscle to contract. You start the lift with that muscle. And that may sound strange, but actually it's something that's fairly common. People will do lat pull downs and they'll start with this motion here before they actually get their lats into it. Or they'll do a chest press and they'll do this motion and actually start lifting with their triceps or maybe their delts instead of doing this motion and lifting with their chest. And see, that's a big difference when I do this or when I do this. It's just because on this one I'm activating the chest, and that's what's actually activating first. And that's extremely key when you're bodybuilding, is activating the muscle that you are supposed to use. Too often people are trying to say, well, I need to lift more weight to be able to grow. You need to activate the muscle to be able to grow, not necessarily lift more weight. I can set you up on a bench press and set you up where you can lift more weight without being any stronger than you are now, just by the way I set you up in the bench press. You can arch your back, keeping your butt on the ground, driving your shoulder blades in. It actually activates your lats. It's a power lift, it's essentially what it is. You'll lift more weight, but you won't actually make your chest grow. And that's the key, that if you're going to be a bodybuilder, is to make your chest grow, not to lift more weight. And so it's extremely important, and I actually have trouble with this quite often with certain body parts too. For instance, I have trouble with my right bicep sometimes to get it to contract the way that I want it to. My forearm, a lot of times will end up doing some of the lift, whereas my left bicep, I can feel it, I know I'm doing the lift with there. So on my right bicep, I have to concentrate extremely hard to make sure that my bicep is doing the lift and not using the muscles in the forearm to actually make the lift also. So it's not something that simply goes away, but as you become accustomed to doing it, it'll become much easier for you. And you can actually feel the muscles working, which makes a big difference. Once you feel the muscles work and you feel what that feels like, it's like, aha, now I know what I'm doing. Now I can make that grow. And so it becomes very important. Think about that mind-muscle connection. Next time you go in and lift, just take a moment before you lift and think about the lift before you go, and make sure that the first part of your lift is with the muscle that you're working on. So I hope that helps.